Hey, what is going on? It is 12:30 on Friday, which means it's time for this week's episode of State of Real Estate. My name is John Chrismo, and the show is brought to you by the Tampa School of Real Estate. We're here every single Friday at 12:30 Eastern Time. If you're not yet subscribed to the channel, hit the little bell icon so you get notifications whenever it is that we have new content to share with you. Because what we're talking about today is starting in real estate part-time. And that's actually how a lot of our students start their real estate careers. Now, maybe they want to stay part-time, but a lot of them want to transition into full-time. So what we're going to be talking about today is how is that even possible? How do you, take a, like a 40, 50-hour work week that you might already have, maybe plus kids, maybe plus this or that or whatever is going on, and how do you make time and make room to start a real estate business? And that's another important thing to keep in mind with this as well, is don't treat this like a career, because you don't want real estate to pay you like a part-time job. You want real estate to pay you like like real estate pays, not like a part-time job. If this paid just like some sort of like part-time weekend job that you could maybe pick up here or there, it probably wouldn't be worth it. But the opportunities that exist in real estate, and again, if you're looking to maybe transition out of what you're doing now, or maybe just supplement your pay, we're going to talk about the commissions and how it is that you justify this information, but then also, again, what are the tips to help you accelerate this start to your real estate career. So my name is John Carissimo. You're watching State of Real Estate.
You are watching
State of Real Estate. Every Friday at 12 noon Eastern Time. Grow your real estate business. You're watching State of Real Estate. Hey, welcome back to this week's episode of State of Real Estate. My name is John Christmas. The show is brought to you by the Tampa School of Real Estate, and we're actually live right now on Facebook. So if you guys have any questions or comments, or maybe you've already got your real estate license and you want information you want to share with people that are following down the same path it is that you've been on, let me know in the chat. We'll have that loaded up here today. But let's dive right into it. Let's talk about working in real estate part-time, and specifically in 2021, because we've done this subject before on State of Real Estate as well as Ask the Instructor. We've talked about this a lot. Again, a lot of our students start their real estate careers on a part-time basis. It's usually not something that they're doing where they're just jumping right into a real estate career. They're usually easing into it, almost like when you get into a swimming pool. Let's take that swimming pool analogy here. Let's say that, there's two ways to enter a swimming pool. My wife, she is the type of person that's going to go in the shallow end. Me, on the other hand, I like to just jump into the deep end. Now, whether you like to go into the shallow end of the pool or the deep end of the pool, I don't think that is relevant at all in terms of how you'll want to start in real estate, but it's the same concept. It's the same idea. It's that idea that, some people do jump full-time into real estate. And let's actually do that. Let's do a side-by-side comparison here of considering whether you'd want to start in real estate full-time or part-time. And essentially we'll do kind of I don't want to say a pro-con, but just what are the realities of both of these two different options that we have here. So starting in real estate on a full-time basis, you are able to 100% dedicate yourself. And the comparison on the part-time side is that you'll have to multitask. Now, real estate very much is a business of multitasking, because, the reality is the commissions that we get paid that might be tens of thousands of dollars, the actual working time that we're spending on average, according to the National Association of Realtors, with a seller is 8 hours of time. Now, the thing is, when you're working with a seller, you're not listing their house and then by the afternoon it's under contract and closed and sold and inspected and appraised and all these other steps that go on. Now, those are all things that are managed on the buyer side, so unless you're representing the buyer, it's relatively low maintenance, but it's a lot of waiting. A lot of time that goes by while you're waiting for this next appointment for the appraiser to come out and you're waiting for the inspector to come out. And these people usually have electronic lockbox access, or if not, you could work with somebody that can get somebody access to the property. So it is possible, absolutely, to do this part-time. But there is a degree of multitasking, whereas if you're full-time, you're 100% dedicated, you could just go wherever it is that you need to go. And that's definitely a big benefit, I would really say, to part-time real estate, because if this were a job where you had to be at a certain place at a certain time, well, you couldn't do that while you were at your other job. So if you have the flexibility to be able to, take a phone call, respond to some text messages, do things every so often, if you could multitask like that, if you have the capability, not all jobs allow for that. If you're like some sort of brain surgeon, you probably cannot be handling a real estate closing issue while you got your fingers inside somebody's brain skull. So that's maybe a job where multitasking is not an option. And there is still ways to get around it where you don't necessarily have to do things while you're working, but especially once your business starts to get rolling. Now, there are some ways where if maybe you were a brain surgeon, well, you could still have a bountiful real estate career, and we'll talk about how. It's just a little bit more finesse in how we set it up. But let's get back to the comparison here. So going from comparing full-time to part-time, another big benefit of the 100% dedicated time that you'll be spending when you're doing this full-time is that there's a high reward. But just like there's a yin to every yang, that also does involve a higher risk. And I don't want to say that these are just high, I want to say higher, because this is all relative here. Nothing is absolute. Now, when we talk about this on the part-time side, typically you get a lower payoff or reward, or it's a delayed. So it's going to take a little bit longer if you're not 100% dedicated like somebody full-time. Now, again, everything is relative here, because even if you're full-time, if you're doing all the wrong things, you could have a part-timer blow right past you if that part-timer is doing all the right things. So very important to realize it's not just about whether you're working part-time or full-time. It's about, are you working smart with the way that you're practicing real estate? So the lower payoff, but again, you have lower risk, and that gives reassurance. I know a lot of people that would take a little bit lower risk or a little bit lower payoff to get a little bit lower risk, especially when you're starting something brand new like this. I remember when I started in real estate, to give you my story, I started in real estate part-time. I started in real estate relatively young, but I'd already gone to school, went to college, go to school, get a good job. I was brought up in that generation. And so I went to school, got a good job, and I was at that job for 5 years. And like the last 2 years, I was plotting my escape. And I grew up in real estate. I didn't want to do real estate. I wanted to, make my own way. But I started looking at real estate, and I saw so many people that had achieved success in real estate. And I'd been entrepreneurial my entire life. And so I've ran previous businesses and had a lot of experience and also a lot of failure, I'll be honest with you. There are a lot of things that I did that didn't work. Maybe there wasn't enough follow-through, maybe I wasn't doing the right things, maybe I didn't have the right connections, but the biggest thing, the number one determining factor for any time I've had any sort of business venture or anything that I've tried to do where I've failed at it, is I didn't have the right information. And that's why we're here in this studio every single week, Wednesdays and Fridays. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And hit thumbs up if you guys like today's episode. But it's all about building your knowledge and your level of information, because the more it is that you know, the more efficiently it is that you could work. And again, the issue with being part-time is you might not have as much time. Well, here's the thing. If your business, think of this like a business, you have a real estate business, and your real estate business, you being the employee, but that business is either going to have a full-time employee or a part-time employee. But here's the thing. If you've got a really, really good part-time employee that's doing the right things, that knows the right things to do, they can accomplish more than somebody working twice the amount of time or 4 times the amount of time, or however, whatever the difference is between these here. But again, getting back to, it usually does. All things being the same, you could usually achieve success faster in full-time, usually. Again, because nothing is absolute with all this stuff here. But here's actually a big benefit, I would say, on the part-time route with this here. And it goes right along with the lower risk, is the stability. And you've got the security. People do things all the time to better themselves. And taking this course alone, even if you don't end up getting a real estate license, if you were to take the pre-licensing course to get your real estate license, even if you didn't get the real estate license, you'll learn so much about real estate. You'll meet, even if you're taking one of our live stream courses, you'll meet other people that are on the same journey. There's so much that you could gain, and that's not even getting the license. Let alone once you have the license, all the opportunities that you have available to you. But if you could add that on, in addition to whatever stability and security you currently have. And look, maybe that's the thing. Maybe you're worried about the stability and security of your company. You know, we live in a crazy world right now where there's all kinds of changes and all kinds of things, and there's a lot of businesses that can't keep up. And that's the crazy part, because a job is supposed to be like, you know, a really secure, almost kind of like guaranteed type of thing. But when things start shaking up and that company can't adapt, all of a sudden that job isn't quite as stable and secure. But that being said, compared to just earning commission solely 100% just commission, having some sort of base pay, whether you sell any real estate or not, is a good, you know, something for stability. Now, to combat that over here on the full-time side of things, what we typically, and I didn't make this up, so if this is wrong, don't blame me. And there's really no right or wrong answer for this. It's all, again, relative. But the rule of thumb that somebody somewhere said is that, oh, if you're starting a real estate career, you should have 6 months of money saved up. 6 months worth of expenses. So that way, if it takes you 6 months to get your first commission check, you could get by until you get your first commission check. Now, will it take 6 months? Maybe. Maybe you get paid faster. Maybe it takes you a year to get your first sale. Maybe you get your first sale in 3 weeks. And I know there's so much of this that requires that leap of faith to believe in yourself. And look, we've all made bad decisions before, so I know it gets tough sometimes to believe in our capabilities. But I know you've probably had those moments before where you just surprise yourself. You're like, wow, I did that. And if you haven't had that moment, let us help you have one of those moments. Because those moments are really powerful, not just even in terms of real estate. Forget real estate. But just becoming a more capable person by going out and knocking something off of your list, that it's something I might want to do, let me try it out. And you don't necessarily have to practice real estate. You don't have to activate your license with a broker. There's so many paths you could go down that include even maybe you just taking the course and realizing, you know what, this is great info, but I like what I'm doing. Or maybe, you know, this is great and I could do this on top of what I'm doing. Or what most people usually come to us because, wow, this is awesome. This is way better than what I do. I want to do real estate full-time. But I've got to start out part-time because I might not have 6 months of savings saved up. And if you don't have 6 months of savings saved up, get in line. 80% of America, I think, lives paycheck to paycheck. It's like 76 or like 80%. It's a ridiculous high amount of numbers. So if you're living paycheck to paycheck, that doesn't mean you have 6 months of savings. That means you have like 2 weeks of savings if you get paid every other week. And that's 3/4 of America. So most people don't have this. If you do have that, you're in a really great position to where you could do something like this and maybe start into this full time. And look, I've known people before that have left jobs and cashed out 401ks or IRAs or whatever, and there's usually penalties for doing these, especially depending on what your age is and the taxes and all that other stuff. But myself personally, that's actually to share my little bit of story. And look, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial person. I'm not an attorney. I'm just a real estate broker and a real estate instructor. But when I was leaving corporate America to get my real estate license, I cashed out my 401k. And I did start in real estate part-time. I didn't have 6 months worth of savings. I had a 401k with a little bit of money in it, but it wasn't 6 months worth of savings. So I did start out part-time. But when I was ready to make that switch into full-time, I cashed out my 401k. I was like, all right, well, this is earning like 4 or 5% a year. I didn't even know if it was even that much. But I was like, I could probably take this money and use that to invest in myself. And that's actually what I did. I used it to double down on my business and make that switch into full-time. But I was able to, kind of feel it out on a part-time basis first before I decided, what I do actually want to, and I still, honestly, I can't remember when it was that I was like, I love real estate. This is my future. Because that's where I am now. When I got to that point, I have no idea. But even as I was starting to get some success in real estate, I was like, this is cool and all, but is this still something that I want to do? And as I figured it out more, and as I got better at it, and as I learned more about it, it all started to come together in a much more cohesive sense. Now, one of the things, again, that's very important with this, again, is working smart. Because if you're not working smart, and this is important either way, but it's especially important on the part-time side of things here. It's essential to work smart. Now, if you've got time to waste here, you could do full-time real estate if you've got time to waste, and you don't necessarily need to work smart. But if your real estate business only has a part-time employee, super important that you don't just work hard, you work smart. Every minute it is that you're spending on your real estate business, you're directing in the most intentional, efficient way that's going to give you the biggest payoff. Because that's one of the things that's great about real estate. You don't just have to do busy work. You could do the things that pay you more. You could do those things. Now, you've got to do some things that are, requirements and necessary that come along with the job. But for the most part, when it comes to directing your business, especially when it comes to starting off, you could focus, again, on those things that provide the biggest return on investment. If you've ever had a boss before that's like told you, hey, go do this thing, and you're like, why? That makes no sense at all. Why are we doing this? This is a complete waste of time. If something really is a complete waste of time and you're not required to do it, and because you kind of are your own boss, yes, you've got the rules of the frack in your brokerage, but other than that, you're your own boss. So the way you market, all these things, yes, there's certain parameters you have to stay within, but you have that freedom. And that gives you a lot of power to stand out from the competition. But again, it all comes back to needing to work smart, not just working hard, but working smart. And that's essential when you're doing real estate part-time. So look, we're going to take a quick commercial break, but when we come back, we're going to be talking more about working part-time in real estate, getting started part-time in 2021. So stick with us. My name is John Chrismo. You're watching State of Real Estate. So you just got your real estate license. How can you jumpstart your real estate business? The number one thing you should do before you do anything else is post-licensing. Now look, this is already a requirement, so you're gonna have to do it anyways, but here's why you wanna do it early. The sooner you do post-licensing, the sooner you're gonna learn the real-world concepts in post-licensing that will help you create a business plan, that'll help you plan for your success in real estate. Post-licensing is all about real-world topics that are usable, that'll help you grow your real estate business. And at Tampa School of Real Estate, we have the best post-licensing courses around. Find out more about how post-licensing can help you jumpstart your real estate career. Go to postflorida.com. Hey, welcome back to this week's episode of State of Real Estate. My name is John Kurtzman. The show is brought to you by the Tampa School of Real Estate. We're here every Friday, 12:30 Eastern Time. If you haven't hit that little bell icon yet, go ahead and click that so you get notifications whenever it is that we've got new content to share with you. And if you like today's topic about starting real estate part-time, hit the thumbs up button so we do more videos just like that. Again, this is live. We've got the Facebook chat pulled up. What's going on, Tiffany? Hey, Liz. I don't know if you heard me mention you earlier. She always likes it when I bring her up on my live streams. What's going on, Mike? Good to see you back again. Hey, Frank, good to see you as well. But let's get back into it. And again, starting real estate on a part-time basis. Now, right before we went, right when we were on break, we were talking about post-licensing. Needing to work smart. The best thing you could do when you first get your real estate license is to complete the post-licensing course for a few reasons. Number one, it's a requirement. You have to do it. But it's not necessarily required where you'll lose your license until your renewal deadline, which is like 18 months into the future. But when I got started in real estate, one of the mistakes that I made and one of the things that delayed me from being able to transition from part-time to full-time and really just delayed me from making any money in real estate was taking post-licensing. I didn't do it right away. When I got started in real estate, I was studying so hard for this exam. And I don't study. I wasn't a studier. I never was a studier in school. Did great on tests still. Didn't like doing homework. Didn't like being told things to do that seemed like busy work to me, which is maybe why I like real estate. I like being my own boss. I like being able to decide and make the decisions. It's empowering. But I had to get to that point because I wasn't at a position in my life where I was able to make decisions, where I wasn't empowered to really make the choices that'll change my future. And I was trying, I was making some right choices, but the biggest thing that I was missing out on, and again, it's the thing that's the most important, especially when you're working part-time, is working smart. And post-licensing, I thought it was just going to be like pre-licensing all over again. I thought it was going to be a bunch of laws and rules, and I knew there wasn't a state exam, so I knew that much. There's not a state exam for post-licensing, just an end-of-course exam. But I still didn't want to do it. I thought it was a waste of time. I was like, what do I need that for? That's not going to help me. Turns out, it could have really helped me when I got started. I did eventually take that course right before my renewal deadline and got it done, so I didn't lose my license. But had I taken that course immediately, I would have been in such better shape to move my real estate career so much faster. Momentum. Whether you're working real estate full-time or part-time, momentum is super important. And I want to even say that especially on this side here for the part-time side is momentum. And it's really equally important because full-time, if you don't have enough things to do, you lose momentum. Part-time, if you don't have enough time to get things done, you lose momentum. So if you're working part-time, what's really important for momentum is going to be spaced repetition. So the brokerage I joined with initially when I first got my real estate license taught me a lot about personal growth and development. They didn't have much training in the sense of real estate. It was a franchise type of organization, and had I already known real estate, this would have been a great company for me to grow and develop myself professionally. But this is actually something that I learned at that brokerage, is spaced repetition and how important it is to learning, to marketing, to getting things done. Because what spaced repetition means, well, we know what repetition means, that you're repeating, that you're doing things again and again and again and again and again. But what does spaced mean? That it's spaced out. That we're not just trying to cram everything in like one day of the week. You might be able to make real estate work that way, but it'll work so much better if you could carve out some spaced repetition. So what does spaced repetition look like? Spaced repetition can be super powerful for building your real estate business. So I'm going to draw out the days of the week on here. And let's say we've got, we'll put the weekends at the end. We'll start with Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Now you might say, okay, well, why don't I just take one day? Why don't I just carve out my Saturdays and I'll just go all in on Saturdays on real estate? Well, here's the problem with just going all in on one day of the week. In theory, on paper, it makes sense. Because let's say you were going to spend 8 hours on this Saturday. 8 hours. Compared to, let's put this other option here in red. Let's say the other option is to spend 1 hour per day. And that includes that Saturday there. Maybe spend an hour and 15 minutes so it gets close to being equal with that 8 hours. But here's what I think. I would say that working 1 hour a day on your real estate business, which is only 7 hours in a week, is going to be more impactful than just spending 8 hours straight on, say, a Saturday or whatever random day it is. And that's because of spaced repetition. So there is no repetition over here. I mean, you could call Saturday's repetition, but that's too spaced. That's way too much space, because how much can change over a week? Imagine you have a business. Let's imagine there was a storefront, and you go into this storefront once a week. Is anything going to change in that storefront on those 6 days that you're not there? Are you going to have a hard time getting back in the groove of what are you even doing here at this store if you're just coming there once a week? And the reason why this is, if we're going to go really deep on this here, the reason why this is so powerful and so impactful is with the way that our minds work. We all know the phrase, if you don't use it, you lose it. If you don't use it, you lose it. So if you're not using this information, if a week is going by before you touch your real estate business or think about your real estate business again, how much of your business are you going to forget about? How are you going to get any momentum when you're constantly starting and then stopping? And then starting and then waiting a week and then starting again. And stopping and then waiting a week and then starting again. So this is it can work. Again, anything can work in real estate if you make it work. Because there's nothing illegal or whatever about that. You can make that work if you could make it work. But if you really want to make things work, if you want to maintain and build momentum, go this route instead. Spend an hour a day. And if you've got some extra time on a Saturday, fine. Spend 3 hours on a Saturday, 4 hours, 5 hours. Spend the 8 hours on a Saturday, because now we're really starting to clock some hours working towards our business. But this is where rule number 2 is going to be very important with this. So it's not just about spaced repetition. Yes, we want to start out getting spaced repetition. Whatever it is that we're doing, we want to make it a habit. Because if we don't make our real estate business a habit, we're not going to blow it into any sort of bigger levels of success. So in addition to making it a habit, you want to make sure that rule number 1 is spaced repetition. Rule number 2 is be intentional. Because I know some of you will say, well, I am going to work on it 8 hours on Saturday, but then I'm still going to think about it, of course, between the next week. But what are you doing intentionally? So when we're back over here talking about spending an hour a day on your real estate business, that doesn't mean just, okay, all right, it's my real estate hour, what do I do? Maybe I should check my emails, maybe I should do this, maybe I should do that. So if you want to build momentum, if you want to achieve a successful career faster, so we were talking about up here earlier, multitasking. That's when you're checking your emails. That's when you're looking at text messages, responding to people, is whenever you can. Whenever it is that you're multitasking. So when I'm talking about spending an hour a day on your business, I don't mean responding to emails or text messages or everything like that. That's what you're going to be doing around the clock, whenever it is that you possibly can. Because the faster you can do those things, usually the faster your business will grow. And those little things that you do while you're not directly working on your business, you can do. But you want to think of yourself almost as a CEO. And this is where you play your CEO role. You spend an hour a day actively working on growing your business, because if you don't work on growing your business, how are you ever going to get it off the ground to where you could transition into working full-time in real estate if you're just working part-time right now? So build that habit of the spaced repetition, spending an hour a day. And look, when I say it that way, yeah, you don't have to spend 3 hours on Saturday. Just spend an hour a day building your business. We got to come up with some sort of phrase that we can make, like an apple a day, an hour a day on your real estate business keeps the money problems away, or something like that. I don't know. We'll think of something cool. But look, that's about all the time we've got for today. So I appreciate you guys tuning in with Say Joseph. Hope you've enjoyed the show. If you guys have any questions after the fact, drop those in the comments. We go back and read those. We respond to those things, and we use the questions that you ask us to guide what content it is that we want to deliver going forward to help you grow your real estate business and your real estate career. So if you want to see more videos elaborating on starting part-time in real estate, definitely hit the thumbs up button in there. Drop us a comment. Let us know. And if you have specific questions about starting your real estate career, call us at 813-333-2676. Or maybe you already have your license and you need to do your post-licensing course. Or you already did your pre-licensing course and you need to study for your exam. Or maybe you're ready to get your broker license. Or you just have real estate questions, you don't even know where to begin. Call us 813-333-2676. Again, that's 813-333-2676. And you can also find a bunch of information on our website at tampaschool.com. It's about all the time we've got for today. I want to thank you guys again for tuning in with us. I really enjoy doing these shows every Friday, 12:30. Again, we're here to help you better understand real estate, to help you grow your real estate business. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Hit that little bell icon. That's all the time we've got for today. Thank you guys for tuning in, and I'll see you next week. Are you studying for your Florida real estate exam? If you are, you need to check out our Pass First Try strategy. You're going to love this. It's 4 steps that we break down the process to study for your Florida real estate exam. So you're set up to pass your Florida real estate exam, because that's what you're studying for, right? To pass your exam. It's 4 steps. Number 1, you learn the information. You've got to learn this to be able to pass the exam, but it doesn't stop at learning. Step 2, you've got to reinforce the basic, simple, key concepts. As you learn this information, keep reviewing the simple things. You don't need to know everything, but you got to review these basic key concepts. Step 3, you've got to test your knowledge. The exam's going to test your knowledge, so if you don't test your knowledge in advance, you won't find out if you know what you think you know until you take the exam. And then step 4 is be confident and prepared, because even if you know this material, you need to be confident that you know the material. Check out the full strategy at passfirsttry.com. That's passfirsttry.com.
The most powerful tool to study for your real estate exam is the Question Simulator from Tampa School of Real Estate. We've used our years of experience in preparing students for the Florida real estate exam to bring you the most powerful exam study tool available. In the question simulator, you'll be able to go directly to a particular unit so you can focus on the sections where you need the most practice. We have also included the percentages of each unit so you know which units are the most important for your real estate exam. Every question will immediately give you detailed feedback, which is almost always more important than the question or the answer themselves. After completing all the questions in a particular unit, you can go through question by question and review any that you've gotten wrong. You could also print out a report at the end of each quiz. The Question Simulator from Tampa School of Real Estate is 100% mobile compatible, so you can practice with test questions anywhere you have your phone with you. Enroll now at questionsimulator.com and get ready to pass your exam.
Have you been thinking about getting your Florida real estate license? Look, the process is probably easier than you think. We break it down step by step, how much it's going to cost, what it is that you need to do to get your Florida real estate license. Find out all of that and more at licensefl.com. Again, that's licensefl.com. Have you seen what's going on in Tampa?
If you're looking to get in on the real estate action that's going on in Tampa right now, we're who you need to talk to. We can help you get your real estate license, start your real estate career. We're here to assist you for the life of your real estate career. Give us a call. Phone number is 813-928-0106, or check us out online at tampaschool.com. Do you want to incorporate studying for your real estate exams into your busy schedule? Now you can review the key topics you need to know to pass your class and state exams with our MP3 audio review. Simply pop in your headphones or connect to your car to reinforce crucial information while you exercise or drive. Listen to the first unit for free at mp3audioreview.com. That's mp3audioreview.com.
Hey, if you're enjoying the show today, which I'm sure you are, be sure to hit like, subscribe, post your comments, share with your friends and family. Thank you guys so much for watching.
You are watching
State of Real Estate. Every Friday at 12 noon Eastern Time. Grow your real estate business. You're watching State of Real Estate.